love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything.
Welcome, guys. Hello. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wildlife Vet Experience Episode 2. It's a chance to catch up with recent participants who went out to the Wildlife Vet Experience not too long ago. Welcome to Grace. Hello. Catherine and Melissa, a few of the participants of the recent trip. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Good. So why don't we start off just with Grace? Why don't you say sort of who you are, where you are, and we can go around and just sort of meet everyone first off.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Grace. I'm in Glasgow doing vet med, and I'm going into third year now. So yeah.
Nice. And then over to you, Catherine.
My name is Catherine, and I am American, but I'm also at Glasgow going into third year.
Perfect. Thank you. And Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm at Liverpool doing vet med and also going into third year.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So you've got back recently from a real action-packed 2 weeks. So first of all, how was it?
It was amazing. Yep.
Oh, okay. Let's get into it and find out some of the experiences, some of the stories, and I know everyone watching would love to hear about some of the things you did, some of the things you learned, who you met, all those kind of things, and just give all the details. So, Grace, do you want to kick it off with maybe some of the things that happened in the first sort of section of your time on the trip in that first week?
Yeah. Well, so the first sort of section we spent with a vet called Bossy. And he was pretty incredible, I thought. I mean, he loved us, obviously, so that also helped. And we did a lot of the game farms with Bossy, so it was just really interesting to see how it actually worked. Like, I didn't realize that's how it worked in South Africa. Like, there was a lot of game farms. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think my favorite day was definitely Rhino and Buffalo Day.
Yeah, that was
I really like Buffalo
my
Day.
favorite days. Yeah.
Yeah. How many buffalo did we do? We did like 7.
We moved.
I think like 18. Yeah.
We moved 7, and then we did like 10 more, maybe more.
Yeah.
And then by the end, they had so much adrenaline that it was taking too many darts to bring them down. So
Yeah, we were there like in the dark, like in the truck. Bossy was like this
so
light
cool.
dark and you can't see.
Yeah. And we got to do 4 rhino as well, which I think obviously was very lucky.
Incredible.
Yeah. And then I was very lucky and got to go up in the helicopter, which was cool. And then so did Kat, didn't you?
Yeah.
You actually remembered to film it.
Yeah. Had some very cool videos. It was amazing. Yeah.
Was that your first time in a helicopter?
Yeah, my very first time in a helicopter with Bossy darting rhinos. So
I know.
it was incredible.
Incredible. Catherine, why don't you tell us a little bit like a typical kind of day in that first week? Because that first week, as Grace mentioned, was very much the game side of things, and the game industry, and a lot of the work that Dr. Boshoff does. So talk us through. How early did you get up in the morning? What sort of happened first thing? Any sort of details you want to highlight on?
It was very jam-packed days. You worked long hours, but it was very worth it. We got up about like 5:30 in the morning, had breakfast, and then we headed out straight to wherever Bossy was that day, and worked on sable, and we did some kudu, some inyala, and it was really pretty amazing. And then so we were working with however many animals that day, and then we would head back home and then have dinner. Food was amazing, by the way. And and hang out by the fire and then do it all again the next day.
Nice. Melissa, do you want to fill in anything that jumps out from some of those days in the first week?
Yes. Yeah, it was very like you can't really predict what's going to happen. It's just, oh, suddenly now we're going to this farm instead. Oh wait, he's got a new client over here. Like, and there was a lot of sable, but apparently the July group was a lot of Inyala. So it's just what's going on that time. Yeah.
So in that first week, we split it up. So there was obviously all those things happening in the first week, but you're also staying at one accommodation place in that first week and then a different place in the second week. So talk to give everyone watching a bit of an idea when you got home in the evening and you had some dinner. What was the kind of, the vibe around, when you got home and having dinner and where you were staying, just, your off time? What was that like? Anyone can jump into that.
It was pretty beautiful. We were staying at these like kind of luxury resorts, and we each had our own. We were paired with another roommate, and we each had our own little. In the first place, it was like a
little chalet, isn't there?
Yeah,
it was like a little chalet.
Yeah, and then there was a main lodge where we would eat dinner and kind of hang out, and then we had a nice big fireplace that we all went to after dinner and just hung out and told stories and talked about
buffalo.
One time there was a water buffalo not too far away from us, so that was incredible. But yeah,
any interesting stories, fire time chats that's worth sharing? Any
Oh god, I think what happened at the fire pit.
We had some deep conversations at that fire pit.
I think we know everything about everyone.
Yeah, that's what comes from being such a small group as well, because like you just bond so quickly. Like there's just nothing off limits.
Yeah, it is really like a family. It was really nice. Yeah.
So the dynamic was quite nice. The size of the group and all of that, it sort of suited you guys.
Yeah,
really well.
I think if it had been any bigger, you wouldn't have gotten that personal connection with everyone.
Yeah, because every single person, I feel like we like got to know and bonded with, rather than different
lifelong
groups.
Friends for sure.
Yeah.
So the first week, a lot of the common species, a lot of antelope, a lot of sable, that kind of thing, and then finishing off that week with some rhino, and then going into the second week, you then relocated and went to a different type of accommodation, which you guys can tell everyone a little bit about, and then also a different type of week the second week. Melissa, do you want to tell us a little bit about that relocation and where you moved to then, and kick us off?
We were in a like tented camp in the middle of a Big 5 game reserve. So there was we were paired up again, but like in tents this time. Luxury tents, not gonna lie. Had beds and showers and everything.
It was glamping.
But like the main area where we hung out had a pool, and there was a watering hole just ahead, which we saw some elephants and Inyala and stuff by, which was very cool. Just right in the middle of it, like can see all the different animals, and we did a game drive as well, didn't we? Which was very cool.
Nice.
I think that second location was my favorite.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was very cool.
What was it that you sort of loved about it? What made it your favorite?
I think the watering hole, so our deck was kind of here and the watering hole was right there. And like Mel said, elephants, zebra, and Inyala, they all just came to drink at the watering hole, and it was very cool. Just
right
in front of you. They didn't care about
us.
Yeah.
Have music playing, and they're just like, yeah.
Yep.
So to put a bit of perspective for anyone who's tuning in and doesn't 100% know, what we're talking about, this experience that we've sort of designed, we try to be a little bit different about it. And one of the goals is to kind of immerse the participants in wildlife 24/7. So kind of, stay in places where, as, Catherine, Melissa, and Grace have been saying, they've got animals right up there when they're sort of relaxing in the evenings, basically having to drive through a game reserve in the morning to then go to the next place. You're basically going on a game drive on your way to work in the morning.
We always left a few minutes early because Dan and Aidan were like, yeah, well, in case we see anything, we need to stop.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah,
We saw a giraffe and,
So one of these things is just really immersing you as much as possible, and I'm so glad to hear that that's the kind of the feeling you got. And this is not even touching on the vet side of things yet, just simply by where you're staying. So that's an interesting touch. The other thing is, we really wanted it to be sort of hands-on and practical and getting stuck in and real world scenarios and all of that. So you obviously had a lot of that, as you just described, in the first week. And then the second week, you then sort of started getting involved in some other things, some of the rehabilitation side of things, the community project side of things, a different vet as well. So yeah, Grace, do you want to sort of dive into the first few days of your second week?
Yeah, so the first few days we were at HESC, which is the Hoodsprit Endangered Species Centre. And when we were there, we would arrive at 7 in the morning, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And then we would go straight to the cheetah food prep area. Yeah. And that's where we made up their food, which was an interesting task. It definitely takes vet students to stomach it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aidan had to leave.
Aidan was not happy. He was like, what is that smell?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we were singing songs while we were preparing the food as well, which, again, yeah, I think only vet students would do that. So, yeah, and then once we'd prepared the food, which was very hands-on, you had to get your hands dirty, we would then get to go and feed all the cheetah. And we split off into two groups, so one group did one half and the other group did the other half of the cheetah. And once they'd all been fed, we would go take a little break and then come back and collect their bowls afterwards. But it was just really cool. There was a pulley system that you pull the ropes to let them in and to let them out as well. So it was really cool to see that. And that would be sort of our morning. And then we had quite a long lunch. And then sort of in the afternoon, it was just whatever jobs needed done. We got to feed the African wild dogs one day, which was really cool. And we got to, Dr. Peter Rogers came and worked with us for an afternoon. And we got to see him working on a cheetah that had injured one of its legs. I can't actually remember exactly what happened, but there was quite a deep cut.
I think it had stitches.
Yeah.
But then it was walking on it normally, so they were concerned that the stitches had come out because they were like, oh, well, it's fine now. And they hadn't, it was fine. But so he was checking on the leg, I think.
Yeah, so, yeah, and then that was really the first few days. But it was cool to see how the centre worked and really cool to feed all the animals, even though it involves getting your hands dirty. It was actually one of the funnest parts of the trip, I thought.
Was loving seeing those cheetahs up close, weren't you?
Yeah.
You get very close. There is a fence, but you get very close, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a completely different, section of the industry compared to what your first week and Dr. Boshoff and the gaming side. Did it educate you in a way and get a better understanding of some of the processes and the things that these kind of centers have to go through and the importance of them and what they're trying to achieve and all that? Catherine, I don't know if you want to jump in.
Yeah, it was really interesting because obviously the first week was all privately owned farms and stuff like that. And then so this center was pretty much basically run on tourism. So groups came in and they got to tour the facility and, get up close with some cheetahs and they had some rhinos there as well and some sable. So it was interesting to see how it really funded them through just pretty much tourism and their, gift shop and their little cafe and stuff like that. So it was definitely different side of wildlife. Yeah.
And then obviously Dr. Peter Rogers, who's world renowned, and no one really knows more about cheetah than him. So he's absolutely amazing. I mean, spending even 5 minutes with him is super valuable. So
we were really lucky to get a lecture from him as well. So on the day he came in, he did a big presentation to us about like all his drug combinations, and obviously that's really interesting for us because we're learning that clinical side of it as well. And everything that he's done, which was very cool.
And he was just such a lovely person. He was so nice to talk to, and all of our questions he answered, and wasn't like you didn't feel like you couldn't ask questions, which was really great.
Yeah.
He loves teaching. He really does. He loves teaching.
Yeah.
As you can probably tell, and everything.
You can tell he just explains everything so detailed, and is like really wants to tell you.
But also because like this trip, it's not meant to be a course. It's not lectures in the morning, practical in the afternoon. So was it quite a nice change of pace to then just for a change, even for an hour or so, just have a little lecture from him?
It was actually quite nice, yeah. Because then it kind of tied in what was happening in previous weeks, and you got to see the drug names written down, which was very helpful for me at least, because it's tough to wrap your head around it all. But that was really helpful, I think.
Okay, nice.
And it was quite good because even though it was for cheetah, there was some drugs that he talked about that we'd used the week before, and then we got more details from him, so that was really helpful as well.
Yeah,
nice. So then after a few days at HESC, you then went into the community side of things for the next day. Does anyone want to touch on some of those projects that you visited?
Yeah, so we went to Daktari Bush School, which was like a little bush school. They were teaching the kids there about like the environment and conservation and all that kind of stuff. And we did a presentation, I guess. So just each of us spoke for a little bit about like what we're doing and answer their questions about the veterinary medicine and why we want to be a vet and stuff like that. And got to see all their animals as well, because they had a lot of animals there, the meerkats, especially. Roger, you're on mute.
Everyone's favorite, the meerkats. I was going to say.
Yeah, we
were
had
very
lots of
cute.
cuddles.
Lots of cuddles.
And also, don't they have some dussies there as well, don't they?
Yeah, just like sitting around in the area, like you can just sit next to them. I don't think they liked Aiden and Dan very much because
They didn't fall.
One started chewing on my shoe a little, and I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
Can you remember the closest living relative to the dussie at the moment? What animal that is?
The elephant.
Yeah, nice. It's like it's so weird, isn't it, to think that tiny.
Sorry.
You just know it all.
And then Grace, you then went on to one of your favorite projects. I know. You want to tell us about the second half of that day?
The Nourish. Yeah. So Nourish, their whole aim was like sustainability, and we went, and everything is made of something recycled. Like they had walls that had bottle caps, and like even the chairs were made out of recycled materials, and they had some really creative solutions that I was like, oh, like this is really, it was really impressive. Some of the things that they thought about that they could reuse, and they had a lot of things that they were growing as well. Like they were growing chilies, and they were making their own like sriracha hot sauce, sriracha, and we got to plant, was it moringa?
Yeah.
Which was really cool as well. So hopefully they grow.
Did a bit help.
Yeah. So, but it was really interesting to see. It was a change of pace, and they have children in that they after their school day, that they take, which was also really interesting because they were talking about how, you know, some of the poachers do come from the local communities because they don't have any other options.
Yeah.
So I thought that what they were doing in educating, and then sending the children back to then educate their families was really, really important. So yeah, it was really nice to have a tour and just see what they were doing.
Yeah, it was just so interesting, all their sustainability thing, because once she explained it, she was going around and explaining everything that they do, and it just seemed so simple. Like, yeah, of course, why wouldn't you reuse shower water for growing plants? Like, sure, but I just don't think I would ever think of that.
No.
Like, just wouldn't have thought of all the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah, I really like their after school program too, because she was kind of explaining how their school day gets off at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and then or 1:00 in the afternoon, and then they go home and they don't do anything. So it was really nice to see that they kind of got some more enrichment and could go then to this after school program and, you know, do some arts and crafts and learn about planting, you know, trees and making a garden and learning about those endangered species. It was really very cool.
And they had their crash as well, didn't they, for like younger kids? Because obviously, schools don't start till older, like 7. So trying to like socialize them and get them learning, playing in colors and stuff like that instead.
It was really cute.
Did you guys think it was a nice change of pace to sort of see that community side of things, and you know, rather than obviously be 24/7, you know, in the vet world and all that, but also see, you know, that side of everything? Did you find that helpful?
Yeah,
you go, Kat.
I think you kind of learn more about not only, I mean, I just their communities and how they kind of work as a society. And yeah, just learn about more of where you are instead of just the wildlife kind of side, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, definitely.
It was good because the wildlife and the people are so interconnected, especially in obviously everywhere, but particularly in South Africa. So I feel like if you're going to fully learn about the wildlife there, it's really important to actually learn about the people as well. So I thought that the change of pace was really, really helpful.
Yeah.
Nice. We can come back to what you did on the final Friday in a minute, but while we're on the community element, on the Saturday, the final Saturday you were there, you did the final little community side of things, which was visiting a really inspiring sort of outreach project. Does anyone want to jump in and tell some of the listeners about that?
Yeah, so we were in a village, like going out and vaccinating dogs against everything. All the main 4. What?
This is pretty much,
yeah, basically
agreeing with you.
All the main 4 lepto, distemper,
rabies
and what's the other one? Parvovirus.
Parvo, yeah.
And then we were looking out for also, Grace, you know this name, I can't remember it. The transmissible
TVT.
Oh, yeah, TVT.
Venereal tumor, is that it?
Tumor, transmissible venereal tumor.
Just like educating the owners on how to keep their dogs healthy, and we did find a couple with that TVT that then
a lot, yeah.
They were saying they were gonna like take them back, treat them for free, and then just help out and educate. So that was really interesting because we just walked around the whole village. We had a load of the kids from the village all following us. Like, I think they were just really interested in what we were doing. They were just coming along, and one of the little boys was like helping us find where the dogs are. Like, Aiden would just be like, "So where's the next dog?" And he'd be like, "Oh,
it's over here."
He was really cute.
It was really nice to be like integrated in that.
And also, sorry, go on, Kat.
I think that TBT was really cool because you learn about it in school and they're like, oh, but you don't really see it. So it was very, very interesting to see kind of the side effects and what it actually looks like in real life and how they treat it, which was cool.
Nice. I was just going to say, like, and once again, just, as a follow-up from your Thursday when you spent with Nourish and Daktari, it's as you were mentioning as well, Grace, is that it is such a crossover with community and conservation at the moment, and with the human-wildlife conflict and trafficking and poaching and everything like that, that wildlife vets are now having to understand their local communities more and find out how they can communicate better with them, and the importance of local tourism and protecting their local wildlife, and how in the long term obviously that's much more beneficial. But equally, at the same time, it is so hard when you're just trying to put food on the table and survive, and that's why poaching is such a challenge at the moment, because it's it's such a tricky topic, but it's just something that is part of wildlife vets sort of life at the moment. But sort of going back to then the Friday, so you were super lucky because not only did you do some rhino dehornings in the first week, but in the second week you then worked with Peter and you did some more. Grace, do you want to touch on some of that?
Yeah, so that day, we did one rhino that day, am I right?
Yeah,
and it was a younger one. And that was quite cool. I can't actually remember exactly what we gave it or anything, but I remember it being a lot lighter than the 4 that we did the week before.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see the different, how Bossy did it compared to Dr. Rogers.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see their, similarities and differences of how they kind of dehorned.
Just like different system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
I was just going to say, that's obviously, one of the things we wanted you to experience was to try and see the different vet approaches and how they handle animals differently, and how valuable I suppose that would have been, because it's not just seeing them doing different things in different environments, but you're seeing them ultimately doing the same thing and how they do it differently, like you say, which is interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were meant to do more, but they were flying around in a helicopter and found they'd all been done or something. So
on that, you then did some helicopter darting, didn't you?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Not on a real animal.
Yes, no.
Just a moving truck.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that was a really cool experience. Like, that is definitely a once in a lifetime sort of thing. So we were really, really lucky to get to do that.
That was my first time in a helicopter.
Yeah.
Because these two had already been in.
The previous week, that's right. Yeah. And so who were some of the most accurate shooters on the day?
Grace, actually.
Wow,
Very accurate.
Grace is very good.
You were very good on ground and in the air, I think.
Yeah.
I was all right on the ground. I think Kat was too.
Yeah.
It was not so good in the
Not
air.
so good in the air. Well, it's hard because you're moving in the helicopter and then the truck on the ground is also moving, so you're trying to have moving
and you're both like bobbing up and
as
down.
you're bouncing and moving. Yeah.
You just cannot aim that gun straight. But Kat, what happened?
Let's not talk about it. I missed. Let's just say that.
Did you get another go or not? No.
I did, yeah. And I missed again.
And then you were
So it was fun.
More practice needed there then.
Yes, yeah.
Guys, I mean, that sounds absolutely amazing 2 weeks. Maybe if I could just go around to the three of you, if you can pick out like something that was just your, a day that really blew you away, that was really like fascinating, really, just a day that you wouldn't trade for any other out of all those sort of 15 days. Tell me some of your thoughts. Grace, start with you.
Yeah, my favorite day was definitely the day that we did the rhino and the buffalo. Even though I think that was by far our longest day, but it was just incredible. You don't even notice the time slipping past you. And working with those animals, it's just unbelievable.
Amazing. Nice. Now, how about you, Kat?
That was also my favorite day. Going up in the helicopter was a once in a lifetime experience. And then doing the 4 rhino dehornings and then moving on and doing the water buffalo, that was very incredible. And then we also got to that day see, it was a very long day. Yeah. We got to go and see a necropsy of a roan calf, which was, again, once in a lifetime. It was very interesting. Yeah.
Hermaphrodite.
It was a hermaphrodite. Yep. So.
Wow, Melissa, same for you, or you got something different?
That would definitely be my favorite, like when we did hands-on Vets Day. But I think I have to say, when we did the bush drive and we were sat in a truck in the middle of a herd of like 25 elephants and like 4 little baby elephants. Honestly, it was just so cool. And then we went back to the camp and did Pilates on the deck, and some Inyana were watching us. That was fun too. I think that's the one.
Oh, amazing. Oh, guys, thank you so much. And the one thing we haven't touched on, which we can just touch on briefly, because I mean, everyone loves to talk about this, and something that, you know, you wouldn't think that we put a bit of attention and focus on, but we definitely do, is the food, and getting you to try some South African food, some different dishes, maybe something you've never had before, all the different South African flavors. Has anyone got a meal or a dish that sort of, you know, sticks out in your mind that you absolutely loved?
Yeah, just braai spice.
I was going to say that.
I'm literally, no joke, I'm putting it on everything that I'm eating at the moment.
We all brought some home.
We brought some home, yep.
Yeah, it's going to be gone very soon.
Oh, no, that is good. I like the wiki as well.
Yeah.
The stew. It's really good.
That was very good too, yeah. I like the pot bread, I think.
Yes.
Oh, that was amazing, yeah.
Fantastic, yeah.
And I scraped the pan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally sat there, I was like, I'm not going to bed yet, I'm just eating this.
Yeah. I also liked how every dinner was like a family dinner. We all ate together, and every meal actually was very, very nice because it was like a family.
One big happy vet family.
Yes.
You know, for those that are watching and heard braai spice, want to know what that is. So braai is basically the South African barbecue, and you know how obviously there are differences. It isn't just a barbecue, and as these three will tell you, there's a lot more goes into it. It's very much a communal, social gathering. You know, the fire is very important. It's not just about the cooking. But braai is the barbecue. So braai spice is obviously a very important part of seasoning, stuff like that. Grace was mentioning. Potjie, for those who don't know, is basically like a pot roast. It's, you know, so you have a big pot and you do it at a nice slow cooking version of, and you can do vegetable ones, you can do meat ones, you can do all sorts. Really, really, absolutely delicious. So go and check out the blog if you want to read up more details about all the travels and the meals and the animals and everything that this group got involved in, because, you know, as you've heard, absolutely amazing. To round it off, could you guys just maybe give one tip or recommendation to anyone thinking of doing this trip, or anything that, you know, is a helpful bit of advice, or something that is worth knowing going into this? Anything you want to share? Maybe we can start with you, Melissa.
Just get stuck in, volunteer for anything they ask you to do, and just like, I don't know, just enjoy it. It's the best. You will literally have the best experience. Oh,
nice, cool, thank you. And you, Kat?
Bring lots of layers, I think, because it's cold in the morning, and then it gets pretty warm during the day, and then kind of cold at night. So bring lots of layers.
Nice. How about you, Grace?
There's a lot of driving, so I would highly recommend not drinking a lot of liquid before you're driving, because there are not a lot of toilet stops. And I think a lot of us have learned that the hard way.
Yeah, Grace had she was the first emergency toilet break.
Oh, no.
Well, I do know you guys enjoyed those drives, because you were talking about singing while you were preparing the food at HESC, and I know you did a bit of singing during the drives as well.
That might have been my fault.
There was a lot of singing.
There was a lot of singing on the trip.
Nice. And then just before we go, any dad jokes? Anything that sort of sticks out? I know Dan loved telling his dad jokes. Is there anything that you guys remember?
He had a lot of good ones.
There is one, but I can't remember how to tell it.
Okay, well, I'll tell mine and see. Okay, I've got it.
Yeah, okay, you tell it.
Okay, we were just sat in the truck. We were just waiting for Bossy to start doing whatever we were doing that day, and he looks over, and Dan's always telling us like, that's this tree, that's a bird here, blah blah blah. So he goes, that's a dead dog tree over there. We were like, oh, cool, interesting. Like, we're all actually believing him, and he goes, yeah, because it has no bark.
and we were all like, oh, okay, wow.
Yeah. And a couple of people were like, no, that's not right.
That's not right.
Yeah.
He said it a few times. He would actually, sometimes you'd think it was going to be a joke, and he'd be like, no, I'm genuinely serious.
Yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the elephant one, but I wasn't there for that.
Oh, I can try and tell it, but I'll probably butcher it. So, we were sitting in the truck waiting to go. I think some of you were in the bathroom. So we were all standing around, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we'll try and get some elephant sightings while we're here." And he was talking a bit about that. And it was a really big build up to this joke, so it's hard to tell, but. Then he goes, oh, actually, have you ever heard of elephant calls? And we were like, no, what are you talking about? And so he goes, oh, we can do it with this tree over here. So he goes and he walks over to the tree, grabs a leaf, and he goes, okay, so if you fold it along the vein like this, and then you fold it again in half like this, and you go and you put it to your mouth, and we were all assuming he would, blow into it or do something. And he goes and you put it to your mouth, and you go, calling all elephants. And it caught us so off guard. It was so funny.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, guys. I think that's a perfect way to end. So thanks so much for all your time and sharing all your stories. I'm sure if anyone wants to reach out to you, they can. I'm sure you'd love to tell them a little bit more if anyone is interested, or if they're from any of the places that you guys are. Feel free to reach out. Give us a shout if you're interested in any future trips like this. Go and check out the blog. Look out for future live streams. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Catherine. Thanks for your time tonight. So thanks, everyone, for watching. If you're watching on replay, still post in the comments any thoughts you've got, any questions, and we can get back to you at another time. But thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next time. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape,